is it possible that we can get so caught up in the amazing moments or the events that we're at that we really end up only capturing it now digital, but we miss the real moment that would have happened, that would have been in our mind's eye?
Welcome back, everybody, to another conversation with your friends, Rhett and Justin, right here at Armchair Authentic, a podcast where we're having real conversations about real life with real people. Now, Justin and I have been doing life with each other for over 39 years, and we've got stories, we have conversations all the time, and we decided that we just wanted to steward our stories. We wanted to steward our relationships and even our conversations in a way that serve you. And that is what this podcast is all about. So if this is your first time with us, welcome, friends. It's so great to have you along for the ride today. Now, we don't want to waste a lot of time on the front end, so we're just going to go ahead and dive into the conversation right now. You guys ready? Here we go. Well, Justin, it's so good to be back in town recording another conversation.
Yep.
Well, I feel like we've had 100 conversations before we even hit record. But, you know, I've been out of town and so have you, and we've had a lot going on. And I was sitting here thinking, it literally is raining outside. In fact, you may hear over the microphone some thunder, some lightning. And I was thinking to myself how much the weather actually affects my mood. As you and I were talking before we hit record, I'm like, man, let's just talk like this because it's just rainy outside. Little gloomy, little thunderstorm, little rain.
We've had a lot of rain lately in Birmingham, Alabama.
I like the way you say it. Alabama.
In Birmingham, Alabama.
So, bring you up to speed. Things look a little bit different today. We're set up differently, and that's because when I was out of town, there was like this huge lightning storm that came through, and I missed it. It's so weird. Every time I go out, I don't like to say this because I don't really believe it, but it has been happening.
Yeah.
I leave, tornadoes hit. I leave one of the greatest lightning storms of Alabama history. Comes right through Moody, Alabama. And what is interesting and very frustrating, and I've already shared some of the frustrations, so I'm talking to my friends who are listening now, bringing you in on some frustrations. I don't know if you've ever had lightning strike your house, but I have now recently. And so Linda calls me, he's like, hey, I think lightning hit our house. I'm like, okay, talk me through. Well, we've lost the lights, we've lost some sockets, GFCIs, you know, the TV, some stuff's not working. And had an electrician come over. Come on, props to P. Scott. Love you, man. Thank you so much for coming over. And just kind of, you know, let us know that, all right, although some stuff happened, you're just going to have to replace some things. Your electricity's running the way it should through the wires, everything, all that to say. So I come back and I do inventory. And unfortunately, I'll give you the list. My garage door opener, I'm like, can't open the garage anymore. So fried. Light sockets, GFCIs need to be replaced. Dude, breaker. I have learned how to replace some of this on my own now. So, lights. And then unfortunately, Apple TV, which, you know, some people like, that's probably a good thing that you no longer have that. My digital keyboard, fried, you know, our podcast equipment.
Yes.
Fried.
Bummer.
And so I'm like, I have to be choice with my words. Just disappointed.
Of course.
And all that to say, ever since I came home, I've been really intentional about getting everything back up and running. So I bought a new garage door. Haven't put that up yet. Replaced some light sockets. Replaced a breaker on my own. Let's go, Rhett. I'm very proud of you. Man. Way to go, dude. Thank you very much. Replaced several lights in the house and ordered some new podcast equipment to come in and be delivered. Bought a new Apple TV. And so for some of you who are thinking like, well, dude, isn't that why you have insurance on your house? The answer is yes, absolutely. But our deductible is nowhere near like the amount of money I've just had to fork out to pay for all these replacements. Almost hit our deductible.
Exactly.
It's kind of like insurance is a scam, man. No offense to all my insurance people who do this, but let's be real. I'm paying you monthly for something that you're not even helping me with.
Bro, and just like, before you go back to that story, we had last year, well, it's a couple of years ago, a tree from our neighbor's yard fell into our yard and destroyed our shed. and it also messed up some other things in our yard, but it broke off perfectly where it didn't touch our fence together.
Yeah.
And I remember going home and this big tree is crashed in our backyard. And you're kind of like looking at the neighbor, wondering, are you gonna cut look, that was your tree, man.
Right.
But it didn't even touch his property.
But you share the fence line.
I called, it didn't even hit the fence.
Oh, okay.
It somehow messed if it would have messed the fence up, it would have brought us together. And I said, I need to call the insurance company.
Yeah.
And I called them, and they told us, they reminded me of our deductible.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have covered it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a pretty high deductible, which I remember thinking, I've got to change that, and I haven't yet. But it's like, if I need to pay a little bit more a month, and it will lower that deductible to like $1,000.
Yeah.
Man, it might be worth it.
Well,
my goodness, because I hate that happened to you.
I know, me too.
Tons of stuff.
It's a lot, and I think we're just going to have to talk through lowering that. But here's the thing: it's like, how often does a lightning strike the same place twice? I don't know what that number is, but I don't want to roll the dice for that. No. So I kind of want to lower that deductible. Yeah. And be like, let's get it lower, pay a little bit extra that way if it ever happens again.
For real.
Now, some of you might be thinking, well, that's why you buy, a surge protector. Well, guess what? I did. It's so random. Electricity has a mind of its own, that everything plugged into the surge protector. Like I'm literally podcast equipment and a computer monitor. I've got 2 computer monitors. One was fried, one wasn't. Yeah. Right? Some other equipment is still working and some isn't. The TV, I've got 5 different appliances plugged in the back of that TV. And appliances, that's the wrong word. I got my microwave.
The oven, and then there's the...
I got my oven. I've got my microwave. I got my toaster. Got my coffee pot. All plugged into the back of this TV, man. I'm telling you. No, I mean, like the between the Apple TV, the modem, the router. What else is back there? Anyway, I got
a lot of devices.
I have 2 surge protectors. I have one on the wall, which everything is plugged into, and then on the back of the TV, we're like, DVD player, which random we do have. And just some different things plugged all into this outlet that has a surge protector on it. And the Apple TV gets fried. I'm like, how in the world? Yeah. And the modem gets fried. But the TV's fine. Like, what is happening here? Right?
And the mic seems to have some extra juice to it.
Yeah.
You got juiced up.
I got juiced up. And so all this to say, so the microphone I'm using, like before we plugged in and started pressing play on the recorder, whatever, I was like, Justin, I don't know if this mic's going to work. And I promise you, I was like, I think I might want to meet Jesus at this moment. Like, take me now, Lord.
Whatever.
Because like, if it's just one more thing that I got to spend money on. But so all that to say, we've got some backup equipment.
Our old school, our first 6 episodes were recorded on our other equipment. And I brought it from the house.
And very, very, very thankful for that.
Very
no,
great.
It's great. And so here we are.
Simpletons.
So simpletons. I don't know if anybody else was affected by lightning, or if you've ever been struck by lightning. Not you, but like that would. Hey, if you've been struck by lightning, come on, man, email us right now at Armchair Authentic, info@armchairauthentic.com.
That reminds me,
because we got to get you on this.
I'm sure people who are listening have seen that meme.
Oh, man, I'm sorry if things are peaking while I'm laughing. It's because we're using this other system. So I apologize.
You remember the meme where it's the lady who, and I don't mean to be making a joke.
Why has it got to be a lady?
Sorry, because it was.
Oh, okay.
But she was struck by lightning. In the video, they're saying how she's made some progress. She is awoken. Yes. And the camera goes to her. It says, and here is a video of actually as she, was talking to our whoever, our interviewer.
Yeah.
And it's like a glitch in the camera.
There's like a glitch. Yeah,
there's and her head is moving back and forth, literally like she's being
so like there's a glitch. Yeah, there's a glitch in the playback, and the playback just happened to glitch at that timing. It's like, and here we have a conversation with a lady who just got struck by lightning, and
Let's see how she's doing.
Go to the B-roll and it comes back to the anchor. They're losing it, man.
Like, gosh, he's trying not to laugh.
That actually happened in Idaho.
That was not her voice. There's some problems with the recording.
Oh, obviously, we're having trouble with the B-roll video. We apologize.
He
Technical
did so
difficulties.
Good composing himself, but he let that little giggle out, which is what made it So funny.
Dude, don't even get me started on all the memes I like to watch of all the, fails from news anchors in live TV. And like, there's so many of them now that just, you can watch like 100 of them in 30 seconds.
But if Rhett's walls
So
could
funny.
talk, that's basically what they would sound like.
Yes.
They're not really working on all full cylinders right now.
Yeah. But, man, I didn't realize how expensive LED can lights are. Man, 7 of them, dude, that's like $200.
Where was that at, by the way?
A lot of the lights you're seeing right now that I've replaced.
All those, seriously.
Yeah.
My goodness.
From my bedroom to
That's impressive. You got
closet.
Did you do that yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Way to go.
Oh, come on. I am Mr. Handy. Thank you. I got a huge smile on my face right now.
We're learning in our older age.
Yeah. So I took one of these can lights off and I was like, okay, these look a little bit different. There's 3 wires to these. And most can lights in new homes have this connector to where it's like a male-female type connection. Yeah. And that's it. You don't have to worry about cables. It's like already pre-wired with like this, female and male connector. Well, these aren't designed that way. And this house was built like 5 years ago. So I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? There's 3 cables. I don't want to fry myself. Mm-hmm. So I got online, looked really quick, hey, YouTube University, let's go.
For real.
So I did a couple of them. Then I was like, you know what? I'm going to teach my son how to do this. So I showed him, I did the whole like, hey, watch me. Then we're going to do this whole thing together. And then I'm going to watch you. And then you're going to do it. And I changed 3. And then he changed 3 himself too. And we kind of.
Very cool.
So I was like,
wow, that's a lot more than I would have ever accomplished.
I grew up in apartments all my life. We just call the maintenance man. Howdy, boys. You need a light bulb change. Okay.
We'd be eating our Burger King. He'd be like, Burger King.
What was his name?
Billy.
Yeah. Billy the maintenance man. Super kind guy.
Very kind. Always a bit intoxicated. He kind of had. He's a little. Like he had a little too. He wasn't quite there.
Yeah. Well,
he'd come in. Howdy, boys.
So he would always. Yeah.
He'd always let that
breath out.
That
is no exaggeration. That was
Burger King. He'd just be working in our house, in our apartment. We're like, yeah, I was eating my bundle burgers that Burger King used to have.
So, growing up in an apartment, the majority of your life, you got maintenance guys. I just call the maintenance man, like, okay, but now I'm like, no, we're going to figure this out,
There was no maintenance man to call.
Yeah. So
there was a P. Scott, once again, thank you.
Yeah.
But
so
you got to pay a lot for electricians.
So yeah. And like online, it's like, oh, I'll come over to your house and do it for $125. I'm like, forget that, man. I got this. I think I can handle 3 wires, and then after,
and you're like,
after a hospital visit,
yeah. It's like the old video, Ernest P. Worrell. He's like, well, there's your problem right there.
Exactly.
You just got to put a little hawk in it.
As I'm teaching my son, he's like, well, what, after one light, he's like a professional now. And he's like, I got it. I'm like, no. We're going to do this. I'm like, why? Well, I was like, because I don't want you to die.
Yes.
I mean, we are dealing with
don't
electricity.
Say you understand all this.
I don't think you respect the process enough, right? And I get it. I was there too, one time where, but we did it. And all that to say, it's been a journey ever since I've been home for a couple of days going into Memorial Day weekend. And
that's right.
That was a part of I think we were talking earlier. What did you do on your Memorial Day weekend? You were sharing like you did some honeydews and chores. Like I didn't. No, man. I was like, I've been working so hard up to Memorial Day. I was like, we're going to rest.
Yeah, man. So, well, that's good. Memorial, at the time of this recording, Memorial Day was last week, and we put some work on. We're getting the pool ready. We try to open it up Memorial Day weekend or the weekend after usually.
Yeah.
Hasn't really been hot enough for the pool, but over the next week, I'm sure it will be. So we've been putting, as you heard in a previous episode, I found the snake in the skimmer, and wouldn't it be the case that
did you find another one?
Yeah,
you got it.
Not in my pool though.
In your house?
I was doing some stuff at the pool, and Summer was weed eating, and when she was weed eating, she found another copperhead.
Did she slice it in two with a weed eater?
She tried. I mean, she was brave. I mean, she called me and said, "Hey, snake was over here. I got like this tool that I was going to try to cut its head off and be like Bo was for me.
I got this now."
I ran up there and I'm like, "Where is it?" I'm kind of hiding behind her, like, "Where?" And she's got her goggles on, like she is like getting after it. And she's like, "It's just over there somewhere. Anyway, I'm going to get back." I mean, she was like Miss Brave. And I was like, "Are you sure you want to kind of back off?" She's like, "You think he's going to compete with me with this thing?"
Yeah.
And she just got in there.
Yeah.
I mean, she was like It was like warrior summer, just going after it.
Oh yeah.
And but yeah, there was she was like, it was.
Did you get it though? Did she kill it, or is it still
Oh, no,
slithering around somewhere in your backyard?
We got 1 acre, so it slithered into the deal. Here's the deal, guys.
Another reason I'm glad.
I'm sure people know this.
We're going to hang out at your house.
Snakes are among us, always.
Well,
they try
I've lived here almost 3 years now. Not one snake in my backyard.
Why? Because it doesn't want to be seen. It's in there. Everybody, whether you want to know it,
you know what's
going to
happen by
not,
the time we record the next episode? I'll be like, you ain't going to believe what happened to me, man.
They're everywhere.
Oh,
they
man.
don't. It's like the movies you grew up on. You think they want to kill us.
Yeah.
But they want to avoid us like the plague.
Snakes
so
on
when
planes.
they feel you coming, they will get away or they'll hide.
Yeah.
But they're all around us. This snake, just a professional in the field was just telling us, you can use snake be gone. You can use all the stuff that people say to use.
It's a false sense of
he was
security.
Like, it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's a false sense of security.
He said it doesn't work. And when you see a snake again, it tells you, well, it must have wore off, so you go buy more. He's like, it doesn't work.
It's snake oil.
It's like snake oil salesman.
Snake oil salesman. Snake
and
oil,
so
keep the snakes away.
They're everywhere. And it's just that reminder, we have this basketball goal set up. We have a net. So we've put some stuff in place where it doesn't go into our woods. But we've been for the past, 4 years, running down into our woods to go get the basketballs. Don't think anything of it.
Yeah.
And I will say,
you don't want to go running down there with your sandals on.
Not now.
No.
Well, I won't now.
Yeah.
I've every time I go to the pool to try to clean something, I've got the rake with me. I'm analyzing every bit of ground.
I wish you could see him. He's doing the visual with his eyes, looking left and looking right, walking real slow.
I'm throwing that rake out.
I'm casting the rake.
I'm hitting the grass wherever I go. I'm like, I'm not going to get me today.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so that was our Memorial Day was just kind of, we're cleaning up some stuff, trying to get it ready for the season. But yeah, it was great though. You got to grill out though.
Well, yeah. Well, you've got to grill out, but no shame if you didn't grill out because I didn't grill out.
Okay, well, no judgment.
Well, I grilled out.
I grill
on
whenever
Sunday.
I have a chance.
I did on Sunday. Does
that
count over the weekend? Okay.
Yeah, man.
Did the cheddar dogs, baby? Let's go.
You love your cheddar dogs.
I love it, man.
I made hot dogs.
And cheese.
I should have done the cheddar dogs.
So good.
I need to excite these.
Yeah, you gotta add a little spice to your life.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
I like them.
It was interesting you're talking about that with snakes. I don't know if we covered this on the podcast, but I've got like a little 5-foot area behind my fence line here that it's mine to take care of. And ever since we moved in, we never did. And so walked out there the other day and it's like literally like chest high in some areas. And it's on there's this hill behind us that goes down with these pine trees that are growing. So it's basically kind of a forest. And so if there would ever been an opportunity for snakes to have their breeding ground, it would have been in that. And so, to your wife's defense, having that, weed eater in hand, I literally, the whole time I was sitting there thinking, there has to be at least one out here. And maybe not a copperhead, but a snake. But I was thinking, I've got to position myself and go left to right and just build my, momentum and keep very aware. But I'm thinking, dude, this thing's spinning at 100 and something miles an hour.
Slice it up.
I will slice this thing in half, and I'm literally approaching that moment as if there could be one underneath me, or I'm about to hit it, and it's about to hit, strike at me or something. Yeah. But I'm like, I'll take you out, sucker.
You better believe it. I try to get Lido, our dog, to come into the yard and run around. I feel like if he can trample the ground a little.
Yeah, do that.
I
think everybody listening right now with stereo is like, that's thunder.
But I'll have him run around. If I'm going into a high grass area, I'm like, hey, Lido, come here, buddy. Yeah. Go get it. There's nothing to go get, but I just try to get him to take the first step.
Oh, my gosh.
Sorry. If the dog's going to get bit first.
Dog.
Sorry, Lido. I love you. He is a great dog.
Somewhere Pete is listening to this right now going, ding, ding, ding. We need to watch old Jetty.
Oh, you better keep your eye on him. But also, man, it was great. But also, now talking about the day of this recording that you would be listening to us. Yeah. We have been celebrating our oldest. Yeah. He turned 16.
Let's go, Dax.
I now am in the club of having
Dax.
a 16-year-old. Happy birthday, Dax.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8.
That's it. 5, 6.
Happy birthday, Dax. But no, that's pretty crazy, man. Yeah. Pretty wild having a 16-year-old.
Oh, man.
So he's been driving like crazy. He drives obviously permit, but he drives everywhere.
Yeah, I bet
Anytime we go.
He should.
We're going to Grant's Mill at Church of the
I'm driving,
Highlands.
I'm
He's
driving,
like,
I'm
can I
driving."
drive? You better believe it.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
he's driving everywhere.
Extra prayers sent your way.
Oh, man. We live on, busy highway called Highway 280.
Mm-hmm.
Tons of cars, tons of traffic. So he is getting the ultimate training right now, because we drive up and down it in traffic every day. And so he's learning.
That's the great training ground, man.
He's ready. So now 16, he'll be ready to get behind that wheel.
Let's go.
Come on, Dax.
Well, I know at the time of this recording, we just have Memorial Day. So by the time you're listening, it's a week behind, but Memorial Day weekend, we watched the Indy race, Indy 500. Let's go. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And then we ended up on Memorial Day, we went to watch Mission Impossible. Oh, man. And so, spoiler alert. Go ahead. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to spoil
Please
it.
Don't.
But does he live?
I was like, because I can't turn it off. I can't turn this podcast off like everybody else can. I'm with you.
Does he live? I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but I'm messing with you. Does he live? Does he die? I mean, is it really Mission Impossible? And does impossible really come out to the mission? Or does he overcome it and
does he at the end, as the last scene, have him wake up?
And it's all a dream.
And he's kind of overweight. He's still got pizza sauce on him. And he wakes up and he's like,
wouldn't that be something?
And he says, "Mom, you woke me up from a great dream."
He's wearing the fat suit,
and
Tom Cruise.
And he lives in like his mom's basement, and he was just a hero in his mind.
I don't know how you've already just spoiled the whole movie, but I wasn't gonna go there. But
if they would dare do that, that would be awesome and terrible at the same time.
I will say I was.
Can you at least confirm that doesn't happen?
I'm not gonna say. Well, I'm not gonna confirm or deny. I leave it up to your.
Episode 5.
Could you imagine?
I will not confirm or deny.
Could you imagine if you just literally called out the Lost? Oh, I hope you hadn't watched Lost yet. The Dream.
Gosh.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
I know.
Well, you're gonna have to go watch it. So
it wasn't a dream.
Lost?
Yeah,
he woke up and it was all a dream. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
The show.
No,
he did not.
It was.
You were thinking the wrong show. That was Bob Newhart. That was the Newhart
was that Bob
show.
Newhart? Oh, I thought it was Lost. I've never seen it, so I was always told that it was all a dream.
They lied to you.
Okay,
that did not happen at all.
I don't know.
No, I'm being serious.
Really?
It was never a dream.
Okay, well, I'm not going to
Matter
watch
of fact,
it.
no one really even knows how it ended the way they ended it. Like it was very
maybe
debated,
that was what it is. It's kind of like,
but it was not a dream.
Okay,
not
that
at
we
all.
know of.
No, it wasn't.
Well,
no, there was no waking up.
You were all about Lost.
Oh, we loved Lost. We watched. We never missed it.
I'm a late adopter when it comes to shows.
You should watch it.
Everybody's like,
and now you really have no idea about the end.
No, I don't.
Because whoever told you that, they evidently didn't either.
Well, it sounds to me like I don't want to watch it based off of you going, well, they didn't really end it, but they did. It's kind of
no, they ended it, but they, when you have a great show. I just heard it was
a big deflated.
When you have a big show, you have a lot to questions to answer, but sometimes you create such a amazing show, you really can't tie up loose ends. And so then the writer has to think of another way just to go ahead and end it. And so people who are expecting loose ends to be tied up, they may be disappointed. But when you look at it from a fresh perspective, you look at it and say, wow, that was very fulfilling.
Interesting.
So it can still be a very fulfilling ending. Yeah, I mean, not as fulfilling as Cobra Kai.
Oh well, I mean that was nostalgia at its best.
And that's probably why.
And I'm not confirming or denying that I've watched the whole series because it's probably something that's just definitely. There's
I'm
moments.
going to confirm I have.
There's moments,
but
I've watched.
It's complete nostalgia is why I watched.
I have forwarded a lot of scenes in that.
There were some things.
I'm like, come on, man.
Early episodes, there's stuff. It's like, man, why?
Yeah, why?
Yeah. So you just kind of hit that 15-second, 30-second.
Yeah.
Move ahead, go back to the next fight scene.
Yep.
I just want to see fighting.
I want to hear Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence and see that tension. And then these new students coming along. And
so that's kind of fresh.
Miyagi-Do.
So we don't need to, we won't spoil that for you guys.
That's unbelievable how that one ends. I didn't realize it,
I mean, seriously, I hate to hype it up so much because I don't approve of the language, all this stuff. It's just like.
Well, language. I'm kidding. Just kidding.
But it's there.
Man,
it's quite the show.
So back to Mission Impossible for a second. So Sunday evening, we were like, hey, we're going to go see this movie tomorrow. We'll do it 11:30. And so Linda was like, let's watch the one before it. So we're watching the movie.
ready.
And we're not, I mean, I couldn't tell you which episode is which. So we're watching it. I'm thinking, well, we're watching it and it ends. And then once it ends, like after the credits, you're watching on Apple TV, it shows you the next episode that's available to watch. Yeah. And when it pops up, she's like, wait, are we going to the movie tomorrow to watch, but we could just watch it from home?
It's like,
is it already,
days. It came straight to
streaming. Is it already straight to streaming? And I looked at her and I was like, we did not watch the movie before it. She's like, you're kidding me. Nope. We spent 3 hours watching number 6 or whatever it was. Yeah. And the next one was 7. And the new one that came out was like 7 part 2, which was 8 Final Reckoning. Yeah. And so she's like, oh man, I can't believe it. I was like, no big deal. We'll just wake up early. And we did. We woke up and we just started the number 7.
Little marathon.
And watched it. And by the time it ended, we got in the car, we left, we got to the theater, and we were watching the new one.
Cool.
So it was fun. Yeah, it was a good day.
That's fun. Last night we watched episode 5.
Yeah.
We're catching up.
You're catching up to go see it.
We're catching up. We have been knocking them out. So we're at 5. We're going to try to knock out 6 and 7 this week and try to go see.
Yeah.
Maybe by the time you're listening to this, we would have just seen it. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is once you think you've seen it all, it's like, okay, I hadn't seen it all. That's pretty
nice.
That's pretty cool. You know, I won't tell you. You need to go see it. It's
like,
good.
It's like
if you're
the
into
mask,
that. If you're
the
into
mask
that.
thing.
Yeah.
I don't know who to trust anymore until the scene ends. But to be able to pull out something new, it's like, well, that's you got me there.
Well, of course they do have the mask throwbacks, but those scenes do happen. Like every Mission Impossible scene has it, right? Yes. It's kind of like mask. Oh wait, hey,
it wasn't him. They finally killed Tom. No.
But the mask scenes are there. But it like the adventure part and knowing that Tom Cruise is insane and does like 90% of all his own stunts. And I've watched enough movies. I know when it's a stunt double and when it's actually them. Like you can't really fool me. But I'm like, dude, this guy is like crushing and I know he's got cables and all that stuff. Yeah,
sure.
Well, it's interesting.
You still got to make the jump.
I would say, does he age? I think reality is when you meet somebody in person or you see a real photo versus a movie photo.
That's true.
Man, the AI technology that they can put in these filters over your face and have that filter follow you no matter where you are on screen, make anybody look good,
That's true. That's very true.
But, but yeah, I mean, dude, you can't AI the body. Maybe you can. I don't know. But I'm like, dude, like... I'm gonna look like that when I'm 60.
He works hard.
Yeah.
He's
not married, or is he? I don't know. He's single. All he does is make these crazy movies all the time. So
he might do a lot more than that, though.
Who knows?
He might be listening to this thinking, "Man, Rhett, you really shortchanged me."
Come on, man. You're working hard. You're disciplined, bro, and I love it. Like it's great. When I'm your age, if I looked half that good,
Tom's like, I'm drinking my healthy smoothie here, knocking out my weekly episode of Armchair Authentic, and. Wow, you really shortchanged me. I'm hurt.
Hey, if our buddy Tommy is listening to this right now, come on, man, let's go.
Oh, totally. He is.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe. Who knows? We roll with the big guys, don't we? We're trying to stay humble here. We don't want to give all our cards out there on the people that listen to this.
You got to let them just be cool and listen.
Anyways, Mission Impossible is really good.
You were wanting
I
to
can
move
go
on,
ahead and
you're still picturing old Tommy. You're like, maybe he is.
No, I'm not. I'm kind of moving on to the what would it look like moments.
Transition sign.
Yeah. We really did think about adding those early on, didn't we? Hey guys, Rhett here. Just want to take a moment and say thank you to every single one of you who have taken the time to follow us on social media. Now, if today is your first time to join us for an episode, man, we want to say welcome, friends. It's so good to have you with us. Could you take a moment, look us up on Instagram or Facebook? You can find us there at Armchair Authentic, or you can go on over to X, find us there as well at Armchair Auth Pod. That's Armchair Auth, AUTHPOD. All right. Now back to the conversation.
This is about, you probably would have just heard Rhett jump in and say, hey, friends, and our little moment would have happened.
Yeah.
And add a little bit of our bumper music.
Yeah, because we want people to have a good time and connect and know all the other stuff. For us in this season, quick intro, and then you're trapped and we got you, and then we'll like throw in these little hey guys, how you doing?
And y'all might hit fast forward 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's fine.
and that's, I mean, no, I mean,
As
it
long
won't
as
hurt
you're
my feelings. It's Rhett's voice.
It doesn't hurt my feelings at all, man. No, we're just on this journey and trying to figure out how we can connect with people and serve people better. That's
Well,
what it is.
it's episode 70, and so
70.
that's why we start
What
to
is
look at
up?
some of this stuff. Like,
Man.
how can we? What do we want to do that's
What is
different?
happening
We're
right now?
consistent. I can't believe we've hit 70 episodes, but at the same time, it's fun if you were to take it back. I can only imagine to the first one and listen to the one now.
Mm-hmm.
There's just different little things that we put in, whether it is kind of like the like you're saying, friends, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Giving people a chance to like the podcast.
Yeah.
All that stuff, which, hey, follow, go do all that. That would be great. But yeah, so it's fun over 70 episodes, how it just naturally, with everything you do, there's natural evolution that ends up.
Well, first of all, when the first thing, oh, you do a podcast, oh, great. Yeah, we're on episode 70. They're like, what? Hold on. Y'all don't just you just don't say you have a podcast. Like, you guys are serious about it. And the big question that I get often is like, how in the world do you how do you get that many? Like, I'm well, I think it has a lot to do with the person you're doing life with on the other end of this thing. Because if I was doing this by myself, bro, it'd be very tough. I'm not saying it wouldn't happen, but it'd probably be once a month, and it would,
a little shorter too.
It would be, oh yeah. Could you imagine? Yeah, maybe.
No, yeah, it'd probably be like, I would have just ended at 30 minutes at least, maybe even 17 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, this is
maybe that's another deal. Like, I just cut you off. Sorry.
No,
but another great podcast I listen to, John Acuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's
little 15-minute John.
Now it's kind of, sometimes
is he taking longer.
No, he used to take longer.
Okay. Yeah.
And maybe he's done so many, he's gone in and out. He's in a season right now. It's probably that 17 minutes. So for me, every Monday morning, it's just been my habit for a while. When I'm getting in the shower, I put my phone kind of above the cabinet where I can hear it, and I hit play. And I know it's basically going to be right when I'm getting in, and the time I'm getting out, it's wrapping up in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so
It's
15,
short.
17-minute, quick little nugget. It's like, that was good stuff. That was great.
It's like Craig Rochelle.
And he's learned how to scale it. Yeah, Craig Rochelle. Yeah. I mean, just everybody's learned how to scale.
We're laughing because Justin's thinking, should I go into The Voice right now?
What I want to talk about right now is how we can be effective in our leadership development. I take about 40,000 steps every week. I do sit-ups and I do push-ups and I'll run around. But I never go out to lunch with anybody. Everybody's saying you need to slow down. I'm wired different. I met with my counselor. They said, double up what you're doing. So I decided to learn Tai Chi, fly airplanes, and hold my breath for 4 minutes underwater.
Some people are like, okay, now I see why you've got 70 episodes.
Hey friends, just want to take a moment and say, if you are enjoying today's conversation, could you do us a huge favor? Would you take a moment and copy the link from your favorite podcast platform and share it with a friend? Email it to a friend. How about airdropping it over to your buddy or your sister right now? Man, that would mean so much to us. Thank you.
I do recognize that our the way we do content is very interesting, because some people think, well, man, it's just so interesting how you guys land on leadership stuff, and is that planned? And it's like, I don't think most, like 90% of the things we do aren't planned. Like, we have this idea, but we're really catching up as friends. We're talking, we're laughing, we're doing real life, trying to be as authentic as possible. We're also stewarding our stories and our conversations. Honestly, for me, everything that I do on this podcast is through the lens of, man, when my son has something to go back and listen to, and his kids have something to go back and listen to about, I'm not a granddad yet, but Lord willing, that'll happen, right? So I'm thinking through the lens of what kind of value can I share with my grandkids?
Right.
And not like, well, kids, let me tell you, you need to do this. Not like that, but like, wow, he was a real person going through real emotions, walking this journey with Jesus, and just through his own journey, through his own process, and honestly, and it's with a friend, and doing this thing together. And so, even though, it might seem at surface level, what kind of value can you bring out of this type of podcast? I think there's a lot, know, and if I'm learning anything, it's just how important friendship is and relationship. And I don't even realize how much this fuels me until afterwards.
Yeah.
Like when we leave and we go our separate ways, I'm like, man, that was just, laughter is good medicine, right? I'm laughing, having a good time. we're iron sharpening iron. We're talking about just how we're trying to get better. We're talking about how we're living life with our family and what we're going through with our kids and how we're processing different things. And I don't know, man, there's just something about that I enjoy it.
And then you realize
And
at the
so-
end, you really have a digital copy, almost like a digital journal. Like you cataloged something, but yet we were just talking to talk.
Yeah.
But you still have this recorded, and it's something you can always go back to.
And I'm grateful that it is helping people, and that it is, whether it's inspiring you, encouraging you, making you laugh, whatever it might be, helping grow you in different areas. But like the plethora, there's that word. I'm going to find a way I can drop that every time, of just like, sometimes we're just laughing. Sometimes we are diving into scripture like we did last week, where we're just kind of unveiling that. And sometimes we have something that is pressing on our heart that we want to share. I just think all of that, to me, man, if for anything, just for my family and for my son and for his kids and his family at some point when the Lord opens that door, this is why I do it. And I'm grateful for the friends who are along for the journey with us. I love you. Grateful that you're here. But like everything that we do in this 70 episodes in has always been, at least for me, through that lens of how I can give back and give some stories and conversations about, I'm just not, I don't know. I was human.
Same.
I was human.
Yeah.
I love Jesus, and I was human, and I was just trying to, just to get better in my life.
And just being natural storytellers, it's a great outlet of just, we tell stories to each other all the time. It's just talking. And once again, you're cataloging this, but you're also, for me, we've said this before, I enjoy I love the technology.
It's fun.
The microphone, all this stuff that
as you point to the stand, you're looking at the stand going, I love the mic stand.
I'm looking at the mic
fun.
stand. I'm looking at the microphone, the computer that's recording all this. It's just, this is like, when I'm editing this later, I'm going to be hearing this. Like, this is really cool because there's something about, we're capturing moments, but then even with that, we will have a normal part of our combo that hopefully we talk about something, and it's great for us to talk about. But the encouragement that maybe the listener is getting out of this, that you might be able to say, God, I have not really thought about it that way. Or, wow, for instance, this weekend, I was actually having dinner with a good friend of mine, and we played music together, for the longest time. And we were just kind of talking about, you go into the old days, you do kind of have your glory days. You look back, and because they were just special. That's all glory days. When I say that, it means the nostalgia that kicks in. There was some great moments that happened, and I love sharing with the friends who were part of that, where you just have conversation. You're not in a rush.
Yeah.
So for us, it was some really good friends of ours named Jeremy and Heather. And of course, they went with you to Idaho. So great friends of yours too. And now they're back. And so we were just having a dinner together. And so Summer and Heather they're doing the dinner thing. The kids are all having a great time playing around the house and hanging out. But we were just talking about something, and I was actually mentioning a song that I really heard. I heard at a concert one time, and it moved me. And it was actually a song called I See You. It was a song by Rich Mullins. Said, everywhere I go, I see you.
Love it.
And it's kind of like a call and response song where you sing a line and then someone repeats it.
Yep.
And I was just sharing with him a story like he was with me, and that he was with me when this particular situation happened. And so when I'm talking to him, he was like, oh, I don't remember that. So now I realize I'm with my buddy and I'm about to tell a good old story.
Yeah. And
you'll hear this story too. But so this song's really awesome. It basically goes like, everywhere I go, I see you.
Everywhere I go, I see you.
And everywhere I go. And you get that. And it's like, you just repeat it. It's very simple, but it's powerful. It's just talking about how God is present and he's with us. He sees us. He cares for us. He's there to be worshiped at all time. All these things you can get from that.
Yeah.
And I was at probably a month before he passed. Rich Mullins was in Birmingham, Alabama. And for those who don't know, Rich Mullins, amazing songwriter. He was a wonderful musical artist, Christian artist, very deep. He would go with his words and the maybe even the affirmations and even the corrections he would bring even to the local church. Really, tough topics to swallow at times. And I remember helping him. Me and Summer came and helped him with like his merch table. And it was just a very impactful day for me. So anyway, I got to that right there is a story I'll tell one day. It was a great interaction with him. But in his concert, he did that song, Everywhere I Go, I See You. In those days, I couldn't just look up my iPhone. This was 1997. I was like, what is this song? I couldn't find it.
Late 1900s, everybody.
That's crazy, by the way.
That's insane.
So finally, later, another artist did it, and I heard the song. So at one of our concerts, me and Rhett, that we played in a band together, me, you, Ryan Jennings, who we've talked about before, and a drummer named Billy Jack Kirk.
Yep.
Us four had a band called His Image Band. Mm-hmm. And we would just worship-filled concerts where people would come and we would all together collectively, we'd worship and just give God as much glory as we could give him because he's so deserving of it. And really powerful things would happen in these rooms, and lives would be changed. People were called into missions or whatever their life would look like. They felt the sense of the call of God on their life, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so we're at this concert, and you got to remember, this is 1998 now, probably. The iPhone wasn't created.
Nope.
There was such a simple time, really, and it seemed like it was cutting edge then, but it was very simple compared to today. And so we're up there doing our concert. And the way we used to do this, I don't know why, maybe it's the side of us going to concerts, and they were always like an intermission. We'd have concerts at churches, and you might have 150, you might have several hundred people there. But either way, they were always special nights, and we would have people come to our shows.
Yeah.
And so we, at some point, maybe 45 minutes into it, we would take an intermission. We'd go back and change.
And intermission then was like, every concert we ever went to had some type of intermission.
Yeah, well, and
if I remember, or they had the band out there playing while the music's going and something happening.
They would turn on some house music. People would go to the restroom, do whatever. Maybe if there was a concession stand, and then they'd come back to the event. We were sweaty because we'd give it our all. We're now in a fresh outfit, ready to do the next 45 minutes. And so we start back. And so on this one night, now that I knew the song, I remember getting with the band, and we learned that song, Everywhere I Go, I See You. And in the middle of this worship moment, I would just sing that, everywhere I go, I see you. And they would repeat.
Yeah.
And so at one point, I looked at one half of the audience and had them sing. And then I look at the other half and have them respond.
Yeah.
And they just kept going.
Yeah.
So the goal was we slowly faded out the music.
Yeah.
And one by one, Billy walked backstage, Ryan walked backstage, Rhett, and then me. They kept going. It sounded beautiful. Well, we went back to go ahead and change to get ready to come back out for the second half, and we were going to take another 10 minutes probably.
Well, the youth pastor was going to come up and like, hey, guys.
And dismiss them. Yeah, and say, hey, we're going to take an intermission, come back. And we're thinking all that's going on. Well, probably 3 to 4 minutes later, the youth pastor comes back, and he says, guys, I need y'all. We're like, what's going on? They won't stop singing. We're like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, tell him it's an intermission. He's like, I can't. They won't listen. They won't stop singing.
Wow.
God is doing something like, can y'all come out?
Yeah.
And well, I mean, we get up, you got one guy finishing putting on some clothes, but we're going as fast as we could to just take off to that stage and just being a tight band and just kind of really being of one heart. We didn't talk about what to do, but it just, in one moment as they're singing, we brought it full in. And it was just that moment when the full music is in again. Everywhere I go, I see you. And you just, oh man.
Yeah.
And I remember being up there, Rhett, in that moment thinking like, God, thank you that I am getting to be a part of this.
It was pretty amazing.
This is amazing. And so I'm sharing this story with Jeremy, kind of reliving it like, it was so good. And Jeremy asked me this question, which I've actually thought of, but I love that he asked.
Yeah.
And he said, can that still happen, do you think? And I wanted to jump in and say, well, yeah. I said, and I did. I was like, sure, I think it can. But it was still like, as friends, we're going to now just have this conversation about why do you even have to ask that? And he basically said, I just feel like the whole room they would just pull out their phones to capture the moment that would happen And then I began responding like, yeah. And then by capturing the moment, they would miss the moment, and the moment wouldn't even end up happening.
Yep. Exactly.
And so just thinking about these moments that we can experience, it was one of those conversations where we were reliving some old days, but it also carried some weight where there was almost a bit of grieving, but at the same time thinking, we have changed so much. And this is in no way demonizing anything, but it's a recognition of, is it possible that we can get so caught up in the amazing moments that we're at, or the events that we're at, that we end up shaping it more towards that experience being captured, that we really end up only capturing it now digital, but we miss the real moment that would have happened, that would have been in our mind's eye.
So we're living in a moment, creating a moment, to live in another moment, sharing the moment, to try to recreate a moment that we're currently in. But thinking through all that process, we're missing the moment.
Yeah.
Because, dude, how many times have you been somewhere, whether it be a concert, whether, you're traveling the country, you're taking a picture, and then you're sharing it, and it doesn't do it justice. It doesn't capture how beautiful the moment is you're in, right? And man, when I go to concerts now, I was telling you this earlier. I said, Linda and I will usually take one just photo of us together, just stapling, whether or not we share it or not, that we're here. But the rest of the time, I'm engaged with the artist. Yeah. Thomas Rhett was a country artist who came through a couple years ago. We went to his concert. Every single person around me is on their phone.
Yeah.
And they're not looking at Thomas Rhett or the band or the artist. They're looking at their phone, looking at the artist.
Yeah.
So it's like, what they're looking at is a carbon copy of something that's not, it's real, but it's not real because you're looking through the lens of a glass phone.
Yeah.
But everybody's looking through their phones, and then they're looking at themselves in the phone, and they're missing it. And what I noticed, and it's interesting, I didn't really come away going, hey, did you notice that? But having Linda and I not living through our phone, and we're actually close enough, we're on the fourth row or something like that, because that's just how I roll, if I'm going to go to a concert, I'm going to be up front, right? But I'm like, how much eye contact we actually made with the artist. Because you think about it, these artists, they're trying to connect, but they're looking at screens.
Yeah.
They're watching people looking at a screen, looking at them.
Yeah.
So so when you're actually making eye contact, they're actually like looking at you. Because
human.
Whoa, there's a human experience happening right here.
Yeah, we're engaged with each other.
But it's like we're missing the value. It's so like we're missing valuable moments that are right in front of us in an effort to share a moment, to recreate a moment where we're actually living in that we should appreciate. And anytime we try to do that, it's like, well, you mean you got to be there? Well, of course. Right. Yeah. Man, I don't know. So to Jeremy's question, I love that. Jeremy, what's up, dude? Love you, bro. Appreciate you guys so much. It's a great question to think about, because what would happen in a worship moment now is like, you're right. Everybody's going to pull out their cameras. So how cool would it be if we were like, hey, listen, like, let's try to create a distraction-free environment here. Like if we're doing a concert or whatever, how great would it be to create? And there are some artists that are doing this now. They actually give you like a bag that you put your phone in, and you have to lock it. So when you're there, you can't access your phone, but you still keep it on you.
Yeah.
To try to get people to really engage in the moment and just appreciate it. Because could you imagine now? Just take that moment, for instance. I got to pull my phone out. Got to capture this. Yes. And yet they're missing what's happening and what God's trying to speak to them in, and really in an effort to share this later.
You're breaking your concentration when you're even in that moment. Like you're so locked in.
You're distracted. It's distraction.
It's a distraction. And I can only recall from personal experience, but there have been some amazing moments that have happened in my life that I'm reaping the benefits of it today. And it's why I can recall so many moments. I can't recall a lot of the moments where I've kind of been holding the phone up trying to capture it.
No.
Because it feels more just like a novelty. This, we can be at great conferences, even for our line of work and what we get to do as pastors. Yeah. And we'll be at a conference, and And instead of having this corporate moment of engaging, you're seeing something really amazing on that stage because it's a conference and it's going to wow you to a degree. And I think that's wonderful. But you're trying to capture the wow instead of experience the wow, because you're in work mode. Instead of receive mode, you're thinking, oh, I need to record this because we're so going to do this. And so now you've swapped and you're picturing yourself, how would we pull this off? And the moment's happening.
Yeah.
And you are missing out on that moment.
It's July 4th. How many people at a July 4th event are sitting in their lawn chairs singing God Bless America with their phone in front of them, taking photos and videos of fireworks?
Photos and videos that you never actually
You're never going to go back and watch them. You might share it. It might go on a story.
You're just hoarding pictures.
It's going to be in a mix of a billion others on that hashtag July 4th.
Yeah.
That nobody's paying attention to.
Yeah.
And you watch it and you're like, ka-doom, doom, doom. Like, it's like, it does not capture the experience. So put your stupid phone down and enjoy the moment with your family and your friends singing God Bless America, and just look at it for the moment that it is.
Yeah.
And just enjoy it, because it's going to live longer in your brain and your mind than it will on the screen.
It will.
And you're going to remember the impact it's going to make. And I tell you, man, every year, like I always kid around, and it's almost to the point, we know we're not going to pull out our phones and do this, right? But it's like, it's fine. I just don't want us to live through our phones doing this, because I want us to look at each other and remember the moment where we're smiling and we're together as a family, thanking God for our freedoms.
Yeah.
Not thanking God for our phone that we're taking a picture of, just try to show how cool we are that we are at this event. Come on, man.
And try to, a way for me to try to help myself on this, instead of saying just stop cold turkey, it's have a moment that you've recognized to go ahead and capture where you're at, get that shot, and then fully focus and be present where you're at. Because the cool thing is, now you've got a rare shot. That shot now will be what an image is supposed to be. It's not one of a million. It's one that will stick with you. You can frame it. You can set it as the picture that's on your screen, your home screen, whatever it is, and you'll remember that.
Yeah.
And if you enjoy the moment, that one picture can recall everything that your mind captured.
Exactly.
And I speak to myself on this to remind myself of, not missing out on some of these amazing moments. When we recently went to the Grand Canyon, we got some great pictures. But I can tell you, we spent most of our time not making it about pictures and just looking around the beauty. If anything distracted me, it was making sure my two youngest didn't fall off the mountain. Other than that, like Rhett, I can recall every moment of this trip and tell you where we were on what day, and that's true because you had to hear me tell you. And
I got to.
You got to. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
But I remember the moment. I remember the feels that came with it.
Yeah.
It's the moment. I can remember moments with my friends when we've talked before about going to this event that was in Vegas, and we walked around because I wanted to eat a meal at the Bellagio.
I want a lobster.
I want I want crab legs.
Crab legs and lobster in the desert.
I really don't remember recording much, but I can recount to you the people I was hanging out with.
Oh,
and our conversations,
the conversations,
it's so
the camaraderie,
special.
The facial expressions.
Oh man, the moments. I'm still close. When I think of John Larson, he and I have had so many moments. So he's been a great boss. He's been a great leader. He's been a great friend. But we got these moments that I can look back and recall, and it's like my heart is like it's warm. I can think back on so many people, and it's those moments where we're just engaged. And even when we started this podcast, I've been vulnerable about this. For me, it was tough the first, so many episodes. It wasn't tough. It was fun, but I had to work harder to kind of stay focused. But as we've relaxed ourselves and as we've just enjoyed this process, like I'm enjoying these moments because I think it's why we stayed away from video. Who knows? We might try it, but for the first 70 at least, we've stayed away from video because I'm really locked in with you, and I'm not having to glance to see.
I'm
what
not having to think
like.
How cool we look in the camera.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the right angle? Or I got a triple chin going on right now. Can we just be real? That's some authentic conversation right there.
This is not very complimentary. I'm bending over here. I'm really engaged with Rhett.
Oh man, my stomach is kind of poking out a little bit in that shot. I think I need to suck in a little bit and. Yeah, no,
but
I'm
all in. Yeah. I'm all in on the moment, and so moments I mean, they can be so wonderful. And as we said, this isn't to say take away everything with the phone. With me, it's like learning just how to balance some of these.
My mind is going in so many different directions. Like, remember that song? Was it "Living in a Moment" or "Hanging on a Moment with You"? Hanging on a moment here with you.
Oh yeah,
you remember that? Whatever.
Lifehouse.
Yeah. I'm like, come on, man. Like, there's these like moments, man, and I think that's kind of a thread that weaves within our podcast of, nothing wrong. We're not demonizing taking a picture or taking video, but
we're
just
giving you something to consider.
But consider. I mean, imagine what it would look like if you could actually go to an event, take your one photo that just for you and whatever. It doesn't have to be great. Just take it, whatever. But then put your phone away.
Yeah.
And soak it in.
Yeah.
Like, just soak it in. Look, ask yourself questions like, man, wow, look at that. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
I promise you, man, the moment that will live forever in your memory, it will go on. It will go on for a lifetime.
Yeah.
Much more than, and then like you said, that photo, you go back and look at it, and that's going to spark so many other great memories.
Yeah.
I heard something that Jim Carrey said, and I don't know when he said it, he could have since changed his view on it.
Sure.
But he was talking about, he loves to be kind to people, but he no longer takes photos. Like, if he's in public, he's like, I'll be kind. Like, he doesn't like taking photos, not because he's against a photo, but he's like, a photo is just like, it's just this little snapshot of just that doesn't even capture the moment. And he said, I would much rather be present with somebody in a moment and have even if it's a 30-second conversation, than just give them a photo. So he's like, I'm kind. They're like, hey, do you want to take a picture? He's like, no, but I'll talk. Let's like, tell me a little bit about yourself. And because there's something in that human exchange of conversation, of connect, of, I don't know, man. And so while phones are great, it just removes you.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's going to be interesting to psychoanalyze, is what they call it, another 5, 10, 15 years of kind of all the stuff of how this is actually affecting us.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't been that many years since we've had this. No. It seems like it's been forever, but it really hasn't.
We haven't really seen the full toll.
That's what I'm saying, right? And so
it's like when people thought cigarettes were cool and good for you.
Yeah. Oh,
and then you find out they're killing you. It's like, oh, well, I've already got 40 years of this under my belt. I guess I'm going to die. I hope that doesn't happen with coffee.
I mean, right? Exactly.
But yeah, with this digital stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot that we're learning.
And we're probably seeing a hint of it.
Yeah.
Because I do think as knowledge has increased, what may have used to take 40 years to see an outcome, I do think time will tell even more. But we are seeing some short deals with mental health.
Yeah.
Because contentment, as we talked about in many episodes, we did it last week as well.
Yeah.
It's hard to stay content. You have to put a lot of work into it because what used to be this beautiful picture now is just one scroll, and you're going to see thousands of others.
Yeah.
And so the speed of which this is going, we don't really know how it affects.
Yeah.
And we've also seen the great benefits of technology. So this podcast today is really about speaking to all of us on just consider there could be some ways of taking in moments. And these are even great. So, I mean, I was talking to you. I sent something to you as my best friend that would be something very vulnerable for me to do. Like for socials, I've almost been more the guy who doesn't participate as much, but I've tried over the past couple of years, since especially coinciding with us doing this podcast, where I try to give a post to it once a week. And that does keep me in this. And instead of, I think I've tended to stay away from it more and maybe demonize it.
Yeah.
I've tried to even be more embracing of it in the way of saying, okay, what can I at least do to not let a cynicism kick in, which would then omit me from participating in creating a moment?
Yeah.
And so, I've been talking about it, but I had told you that when summertime kicks in, I've had this privilege to the school that my two youngest go to. I went every Wednesday of the school year and did what we call Worship Wednesday. And I wanted it to be something that impacted them. And as you've heard, it impacted me greatly because I'm getting to lead worship and watch these students come alive.
Yeah.
And it's that reminder.
It's great.
They had no devices there, by the way, at school.
Yeah.
They're locked in.
It's illegal in Alabama now, by the way, in public school. Did you see this? They just passed that bill.
It needs to be.
They're like, and I don't know, we'll see how it goes over. Because anyway, but yeah.
Well, their attention is there, and they're young. I mean, different ages.
Of course.
But they're locked in.
Yeah.
And as we did that, when the school year ended, I taught with Summer. I was like, I think I'm going to keep this going. And yes, for them, because I've been doing it every Wednesday, but almost more, I've enjoyed getting to get on my instrument and sing just songs that have meant something to me, that have impacted my walk. And so even as you're listening to this, it may have just been posted, or it will post in the next couple of days. But I'm trying to create these weekly moments, at least for the summertime, where I'm taking, whether it's a worship song or a song that calls for a response of worship within you, just to have this moment in my little studio at the house, very, very real and authentic, and just singing and just having a moment. But I also recognize, this is where I won't let the cynicism kick in or the devaluing it. I also know I'm now entering into the realm of it's just going to be one more scroll of 1,000. But what it's important to me is I was able to express and steward a gifting.
Yeah.
For maybe one person who wants to hear that, and it encourages them before they move on to their next scroll. But either way, it's me trying to create a moment and partake a little bit on socials, where the past however many years that it's been in existence, I've had very light engagement and zero engagement when it actually comes to playing an instrument and singing.
Yeah.
Never have done this online before.
You're also at a place now too, to where you're not doing it for likes. You could really care less what people think or don't. You're just being faithful to what is in your hand to steward that, to be a blessing.
And creating some moments.
And
that's right.
Just like with this podcast, not everybody's going to like this and enjoy this,
Yeah.
But we're doing this. We know our why behind it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think is beautiful. I'm really proud of you for that. I'm really excited about that too. I know in 2020, when all that went down, I was doing a little bit of that through One Life in the church that we were leading.
I remember that.
To try to keep that in front of people and creating these worship moments.
With you on the piano?
With me on the piano.
I loved it, by the way, when you did that.
You're very kind. It was, and so I know how hard that is to do. To be vulnerable with a gifting in a very raw format.
What it's helping me on it's like the podcast.
Yeah.
And for our listening audience, that you find that thing that fuels you, because it's so much more than just a song. It's so much more than just an instrument.
Yeah.
It's more than just this microphone. For you, it's so much more than just going to the gym. Whatever it is that you love, it's fueling something that you really can't see, but it's developing you. And everything that we just named, these moments that me and you have together as friends, the accountability, even though we're cataloging this, the moments of getting on my guitar, which, you think of that movie Chariots of Fire, like when he runs, you sense, do you remember the line of there? It's like when I run, I sense his pleasure. Like I sense the pleasure of God when I do that, because I'm operating in a gift. And all it's going to be doing is kind of putting it out there, what I've been doing in my living room for the past 32 years.
That's it.
And obviously more in those earlier years, but it's creating some of these moments. But what it's doing for me is, when I step into whatever it is I do, when I step into my job, when I step into ministering to somebody, there is a fuel that I have in me that I'm able to give something to somebody, because I have fueled myself up, and I'm able to give them more than had I just decided to bury all that and not steward that. I might be a one talent person. Who knows? 3, 5, I don't know which one. But I know that we are called, and this is for everybody out here. God never demanded that you go be like the talent guy that's at 5 or 7 or 10 or 20. He just asked, what did you do with what I gave you? And so this, to me, is a wonderful moment to operate in stewardship.
God gave me 2 hands, and over Memorial Day weekend, he gave me the ability to drop at Edgar's Bakery. And bro, I filled up more than 2 handfuls of cupcakes and 2 cinnamon rolls that I thought I was going to share with my family. And I ended up cutting them.
Do you have any?
I cut them in square. I cut them in squares. And then by the time it was all gone, I'm like, am I the only one eating the cinnamon rolls? Like, I ate 2 Edgar's Bakery cinnamon rolls in 2 days.
Do you have any more?
I do not.
You have anything?
We bought like 6 cupcakes.
Snacky.
We went through and like, get that cupcake, get that cupcake. Everybody gets a cupcake. And then like, ooh, cinnamon rolls. Like, you know, like it was gluttony. I stewarded my hands and I ate both of those cinnamon rolls over 2 days. And yeah, I'm already going.
So
I need to get back at it and start walking again. And yeah. So
find his pleasure in your eating cinnamon rolls. Find his pleasure in your walking, your rucking.
Yeah, rucking. Yeah.
You carry them rocks.
Be still and know that I'm God. And sometimes we've got to silence the noise and the distraction. And there are moments that you're missing. You and I, all of us together, are missing where God is speaking because we're distracted by that which is in our hand, because we're not living in the moments. Stop trying to create moments to share a moment, to recreate the moment that you're actually living in. Enjoy that moment and be still and know that He is God.
Hey friends, thank you so much for joining us on today's conversation. We cannot wait until our next episode that drops next Monday. So until then, we hope you have a great day, stay safe, and we will see you soon right here with your friends, Rhett and Justin at Armchair Authentic.